primitive rock paintings, very rural. So 2 days ago we left Camp Grimsby, as you would have seen. We did. So let me get you up to speed. A couple of days ago we left Camp Grimsby and we have now arrived at Rudholken, which is not too far from Karlstad, right next to Lake Varn, or however you pronounce it, the very big lake around here. Today is pretty nice, like great weather, which is cool because we had several days of cloudiness and rain. It was still nice, so staying at a little Airbnb, Stuga, which is very... I'm sorry, I'm surrounded by mosquitoes and they're trying to bite me. Strik naar beter.
Zeg nou eens, hé. Hé, het is onder dat stoomcamera.
After we left Rudholken, we came up to this school building that was for sale, and then afterwards we headed to Hedemora. I didn't film too much here because there were quite a lot of people and I felt a little uncomfortable filming, but here's some clips. As you can see, it was a very nice building, but it needed a lot of work, so it was quite a big project and there was a lot of interest. I think it ended up getting sold for 175k or something, so quite a bit above asking price, which I think was 90k. Ja, ik heb nu een beetje een raar klotje.
Zo, wat wil je van iets van achter?
We drove up to this place called Östra Silfverbergsgruva. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm not sure. A couple of times because it was quite nice. I think we drove up there like 2 or 3 times. And I would really recommend it if you're ever in the area. At one point there were a couple of divers there, I think, practicing their diving skills or whatever, I'm not sure. back. We are currently near the high coast of Sweden, a bit more inland actually, in a town called Nasaker. Probably mispronounce it. Anyway, it's a very small town, very rural. Yeah, I should not try to pronounce that word. Very rural. Yeah, I can't. Very remote, I'd say. A lot of farms and not much to see or do, except for look at the primitive rock carvings or paintings, which the town is very known for. There's a river running along the town, and alongside the river there are all these rocks, and you've got a whole story with a whole story painted out for you, which you can go and look at. So we did that. It's actually pretty nice, and the whole area is actually quite stunning. There's also a road called Turistwagen, but I've seen a lot of those here in Sweden. So you kind of got the main road, and then alongside you've got a slower road which takes you through all these idyllic places. And there's also one of those running from this village to, yeah, a village a bit further. So that's also quite nice. You get a lot of scenic views. You see a lot of typical Swedish houses. There's a train or a railroad, I should say, a railroad running right next to the street between the houses. So it's quite quaint and cute. So overall, a pretty nice place to stay. There's also a goddess museum in town that's supposed to be quite good, but for some reason it's closed right now. I think this was supposed to be quite a touristy season, but there's no one here right now, and the campings are closed. So I think yeah, this town is suffering quite a bit from Corona when it comes to tourism. Seems pretty dead. Anyway, what have we been up to since you last saw us in Hedemora? Oh wait, I now think I know how to pronounce the name of that town, because I saw a vlog from a Swedish girl who was visiting the town, and I think she pronounced it Hedemora. Could that be right? If anyone Swedish is looking at this video, is it Hedemora? Not sure, but I think Hedemora is closer to what it should be than Hedemora. I don't think Hedemora is anything close. So from now on, I'm just gonna say Hedemora. So what have we been up to since you last saw us in Hedemora? So we traveled to the high coast, which was a travel of about 6 hours by car. Quite a lot of good views, I should say, because you travel along the coastline, and as the name suggests, it's a high coast, so you got quite a lot of, like, I'm not gonna say mountains, they're hills, but it's quite hilly, and then you got all these rocks, and so it gives you quite a lot of nice views. And then of course, Sweden being Sweden, there's constantly all these lakes and stuff. So it was a pretty nice car ride up here. And then a couple of days after we arrived, we went to see another house. So I think the last time you saw us visiting a house was when we visited the school. So here we visited another house, a real summer home, a vacation home. I think 2 hours from where we are currently staying, and it was quite nice, and we fell in love with it. Of course, we also fell in love with the school, so I'm not sure what that tells you. But the starting price was 30k, so after we got there, we did decide we wanted to buy it, and we had hoped that there wouldn't be a lot of interest because when we visited the house, there didn't. I mean, there were two other visitors, and it seemed like there wasn't another viewing planned before that or after that. So we were like, oh yeah, it's probably us and then two other people possibly being interested. But when the bidding process started, like at first it was just us and then another person bidding, and it was this very tiring bidding process where the other person always just added 500, so a very small amount, and we chose a strategy of being just very chaotic with our bids and all over the place to kind of throw them off, but that didn't work. And then all of a sudden there was a third bid, a bid from a third person, which was also a bit of a weird bid because it was like, I think it was also 500 above our bid, so it was not really worth the bid. Or I wouldn't come in that late in the game with such a low bid, but anyway, third person seemed to be interested, and then we placed another bid, and then a fourth person came in with a pretty decent bid, and then it was us against that fourth person. And yeah, in my mind I didn't want to go much higher than 40k, but yeah, at a certain point the fourth person made a bid of 47k, and it kind of felt like it was gonna go above 50k, so we decided not to go ahead. And for anyone watching who doesn't live in Sweden, you might be like, oh, 50k, that's a steal, and it really is. But here in Sweden, especially in this area, you can get like full-sized year-round houses for 50k. And this house was, it was beautiful, and it was super nicely located. It looked very idyllic, and it was super private, and it was on this hill that went down to the river. No, not the river, the lake. And it was surrounded by trees, and then you had views over the mountains, and at the back of the yard there was like this grill place where you had a view over the lake and a little path down to the lake with access to the lake. And it was, the main house had 2 bedrooms and had quite a big living room, a nice kitchen. Everything seemed quite modern. There was a lot of light coming in. There was a patio. How do you call it? The patio? I don't know how to pronounce that word, but you know, patio, whatever you call that, and a big terrace. And then there was a pathway, a wooden pathway leading up to another little house. It's not a house, a cabin with a sauna in it, and then a pathway to another outbuilding with a bedroom, an additional smaller room, and then a garage. It had an extra outdoor toilet. I was gonna say bathroom, it's not a bathroom. It had an outdoor shower, and yeah, it was pretty cool, pretty well kept. You could basically immediately move in, but the problem was, not only was it of course a summer house, because not only was it just not only not only was it quite small and just a summer or vacation home, you could be like, oh yeah, but I'm gonna make you work in winter. But in this case, you really couldn't, because the road leading up to the cabin, which was quite long, doesn't get cleared in winter. So the travel from where the roads do get cleared all the way up to the cabin would have been quite a distance, and yeah, I don't really know how you would overcome that distance. It was quite a long way, so the cabin was very remote, which made it, you know, idyllic and beautiful and great for summer. But in winter, you'd really be stuck there, or you'd have a hard time getting over there. So that's why we decided like 50k would be a bit too much, especially in this area where you have year-round houses with outbuildings in pretty good condition. Around 50k, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, but you know, you've got an entire house then, whereas in this case you would have just had a vacation home for 3 to 4 months, because summer in Sweden, especially up north, doesn't last that long. If you're lucky, you might be able to get up there until October, but if you're unlucky, mid-September might already be the end of your summer, because as soon as it starts snowing, there's no access to the house, or it's, well, you can always find a way to get there, but it would become pretty tricky, I guess. So yeah, we decided to stop bidding on it, so it's probably gonna be sold for 47k. And what are we up to next? We're gonna go and look at another house. Unfortunately, we're not in the area when the actual viewing is being done or arranged. So what we will be doing is we'll drive up there, because it's another quite remote cabin, holiday home. It's up for sale for starting price of 25k. So we figure we just go up there, walk around, the house, because it's in a nature reserve or whatever. So it would be quite easy to just go there, have a look. Of course, you can't go inside the house, but at least you can get a feel for what it's like to be there and the environment. And if we really like the area, we might place a bid without having seen the property inside in real life, because we've seen the pictures look really good. We've read the description. That was also, I mean, we know what we're expecting. So I think for 25k, we can place a bid and be pretty safe if we see it from the outside. And then tomorrow or the day after, we're gonna do a similar thing with another house, or actually 2 houses. It's 2 houses on one plot that are being sold for 25k. Both of the houses, I mean, it's one smaller house. It's with a kitchen / living room and then a bedroom. And then it's one bigger house with a kitchen, 2 bedrooms and a living room. And so they are both for sale for 25k. Only downside to that house is that there's no electricity, but I think you can fix that with solar. So I mean, there's always a solution to live off grid and still have some electricity. There's also no water, but you have, I'm not sure what the technical term is, or how you'd say it, but you have the right to access the river that runs next to the house. During winter you won't be able to get any water I guess, but during summer I think there will be an easy solution for that. I mean, just a question of installing a pump and then pumping the water up to your house, I guess. I mean, we won't be installing a full bathroom, but at least we'll be able to get water to the outdoor shower and the jacuzzi that's down there. And then electricity, I'm not worried about that either, because especially if you're mainly using it as a summer house, I think you should be fine with solar. I think that solar could be a pretty good solution. Because especially here in Sweden, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's cloudy, but the summer months, it's light 24/7. I mean, the sun doesn't really go down, so there's always sun. So I think, and I've seen a lot of houses with solar, and there even seem to be small solar farms. So I think solar could definitely be an option there, or there's always a solution for electricity, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, 2 houses for 25k. So again, we won't be able to do the viewing, the official viewing, so we won't be able to see the inside of the houses, but we've seen the pictures, we've seen the description, so if you can just have a look at the outside and get a sense of the surroundings, I think we will place a bid based on that, because can you really go wrong buying 2 houses for 25k? I don't know. I don't think you can.